interesting episode of our masterclass, Achievers Masterclass. Thank you so much for joining, and I want to use this opportunity to welcome you all from all over the world. I'll be joining, or that have already joined our broadcast for today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. And for those that are newbies here, I want you to you know subscribe if you have not done so already. Subscribe to our channel, and then click on the notification bell so that you will be accessible to our videos, our subsequent videos that we've posted on this channel. And what we do here is to teach people on how to be successful in their driving theory exams, and also going forward to get the driver's license here in Italy, and also teach people on how to identify and understand the road signals, the different road signals we have around town. It might also be valuable for you if you are not living in Italy, but you're living in diaspora, living in other countries, because most of these signs are similar everywhere in the world. So if you join this channel, you'll be accessible to understanding these road signals and then making the best use of them. All right, today we'll be having a master class with some of our students that will be joining us as we hook them up. So if you are here, I want you to pay attention to what we have to share today, because honestly, we will be, you know, teaching you something that is very, very necessary, something that's we are talking about a very important topic here. We'll be sharing a very important topic, very, very important, so important that you need to pay attention to get all that we have to share. So please do subscribe if you've not done so already, and then share this video. Who knows, you might be helping somebody. Share this video to your social media community so that people can be accessible to what you are having access to. Who knows, you might be helping somebody that is in dire need of this opportunity. So stay tuned as I get across my students. Where are my students? All right, if you are here in our last lecture and there are further questions there are questions you have, and you want me to throw more light on those, questions, please, let's see your comments in the comment section. Please do some questions in the comment section so that I can handle them for you. Moreover, these questions are questions that are driving related. Any driving related question you have, anywhere in the world that you might be, any driving related questions you have, put them in the comment section so that I will give you the answers to those questions. Now, if you like this video and you like other videos that we've posted in previous times, please like them and then share them with your social media community so that people will be accessible to it. And also, if you enjoy what you are doing. You want to be a part of what you are doing. As maybe you want somebody to lecture, you're looking for a lecturer to put you through in your driving theory so that you too can be successful in it. You go ahead and then place your interest, indicate your interest in the comment section so that I will take it up from there. All right. And then before you know it, you'll be enrolled and become one of our candidates that will do well eventually in their driving theory exams. All right. So if there are any questions you have, please let's see those questions in the comment section. Any question at all that has to do with driving, questions that are driving related, let's see them in the comment section so that we can handle them as I await my students from all over the world to join me. Okay.
Hello, bros. Good evening.
Good evening, madam. How are you doing?
Fine. Are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Happy weekend.
Thank you very much. Same to you.
You're welcome. Um, Let us quickly go into what we have for today. I believe, where did we stop last week?
Um, we finished that's the one we need to start is 284. Limitazioni the consuming respect. 284. We are starting for 284.
284.
No. I don't. Wait on. No, we are not to 284. Okay, we are starting for responsabilità civile. I don't know. 271.
Okay, 271, that's responsabilità civile e penale. Assicurazione RCA e altre forme assicurative legate al veicolo. Cenni di psicologia del traffico. Okay, that's it. So we start from um, lesson 23.1, responsabilità civile e penale connesse al sinistro stradale, which means civil and penal responsibility that is connected to road accident. Civil or penal responsibility that's connected to road accident, because whenever there's an accident, there's always a responsibility. Sometimes it can be civil responsibility, sometimes it can be penal responsibility, sometimes it can also be administrative responsibility. So whichever responsibility there is, that's what we are going to be looking at today. Now, sulla base del principio che ogni danno causato deve essere risarcito, la responsabilità civile connesse o connessa al sinistro stradale consiste nell'obbligo di risarcire i danni, anche di lieve entità, causati sia alle persone che alle cose che agli animali dal sinistro stesso. Now, let me explain what I've just read. Said, sulla base del principio che ogni danno causato deve essere risarcito, even though that the basis of any damage is to be compensated. The basis that every damage or any damage has to be compensated. What does that mean? When there's a damage to anything, as long as there's an insurance, you'll be compensated. Or when there's a damage to your property by somebody, that person has to compensate you. That's what it is. Then he now said la responsabilità civile connessa al sinistro stradale, which is the civil responsibility that is connected to road accident. That's what they mean by sinistro stradale, like I told you some time ago, is road accident. Consiste nell'obbligo di risarcire i danni. It consists that it has to be it has to be an obligation to compensate for damages, even if it is a small damage. Okay. Causati sia alle persone che alla cause, whether the damage is on the person himself or herself, or the damage is on things, properties. Well, that's what I mean by that's what I mean by alle cause. Cause means things, and those things can mean your property, your vehicle, anything that belong your personal belonging. Excuse me, your personal belonging. Now, ali animali anche, it also involves animals. Even though there's an accident and there's an animal in the vehicle and the animal is injured one way or the other, that animal will be compensated. That's how it is done. That's sinistro test. So that means in that accident, anything that is involved in that accident, whether humans, things, animals, they will be compensated as long as it is responsabilità civile connesso a sinistro stradale. Now, that responsabilità civile is civil responsibility that is connected to road accident. When there is a civil responsibility connected to road accident, it means that whoever has been damaged or whoever is involved, for instance, in this case, when two vehicles hit each other and one is at fault, you already know that when there's a collision, one of those vehicles is at fault. So the one that is at fault, his insurance company have to balance or have to compensate the one that has lost property or is injured. You understand? So that's what responsabilità civile connessa al sinistro stradale is. Grava, cioè è a carico sul conducente, a meno che questi provi di aver fatto il possibile per evitare danno. Now, these things the burden is always on the driver. For instance, somebody is driving, he hit another person. That driver, you understand, that is the cause of that accident. The burden is always on him. Okay? The burden is always on him, even though he tries his best to dodge the accident, even though he tries his best to dodge it. That's why he says, a meno che questi provi di aver fatto il possibile per evitare il danno. E sul proprietario del veicolo, a meno che questi provi che la circolazione è avvenuta contro la sua volontà. Now, this what's it called? This sinister, is it responsabilità civile? It has to do with it. Whenever there's an indicator and there's an accident, it means that the driver that is involved, the burden is both on the driver and the owner of the vehicle. The burden is both on the driver and the owner of the vehicle, because it is not everybody that is driving that has the vehicle. Sometimes people can be driving company vehicles and there's an accident, there's a damage, and the accident leads to damage. You understand? So the burden of that accident is both on the driver of that vehicle and the company that has that vehicle, if it's a company, or an individual that has that vehicle, if it's an individual. You understand? So if there is a damage as a result of that accident, the people that are going to bear the burden is both the driver that caused the accident and also the owner of the vehicle. So for instance, if the driver is the owner of the vehicle, then the burden is on him alone. But if the driver of that vehicle is not the owner, the burden of compensation is both on him, the driver, and the owner of the vehicle. You understand? Now, even though they try their best to dodge the accident or to dodge the damage that was caused as a result of the accident, the burden is always on the both of them. Now, la responsabilità civile è indipendente dalla responsabilità penale e dalla responsabilità amministrativa. Now, there are different types of responsibility or responsibilities. Like I said when we started, those ones have to do with responsabilità penale and responsabilità amministrativa, which also is responsabilità civile. So this responsabilità civile is different, it's independent. The responsabilità civile that we are talking, we can call it civil responsibility. The civil responsibility is independent. It does not depend on either administrative responsibility or penal responsibility. So as we move forward, we'll be talking about what these other two types of responsibilities are. Okay. Now, chi è civilmente obbligato a risarcire i danni provocati da un sinistro stradale, cioè colui che ne è responsabile può accordarsi con il danneggiato, cerca il valore del risarcimento e si libera quindi dall'obbligo se lo risarcisce personalmente. Now, if the person that is involved in an accident and the person that is wrong, when there's an accident, there are two people that's always involved in an accident. Now, these two people, one person must be at fault. So the person that is at fault in the event of an accident has the obligation to compensate the one that he hit or the one that he damaged his vehicle one way or the other. All right. Then, since he has the right to compensation, has the right to compensate the person that is involved, it is something that he can also discuss with the one that he has involved. For instance, there are people. Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. Somebody was driving me somewhere one day, and he hit the person from behind. As he was driving, it was so close. By the time the person hit, slam on their brakes, he could not control, so he hit the person. So what happened was they decided, instead of them to call police, people will want to call, which is the law. So instead of them to call, both of them just clear their vehicle from the road, and they discuss on how to solve the problem. So the one that they hit his vehicle said, okay, give me so amount, let me go and repair my vehicle. Then the young man said, okay, let's go to the bank. They went to the bank, withdrew the money, gave him, and that was the end of it. You understand? That's what this place is saying. You understand? So, chi è civilmente obbligato a risarcire i danni provocati da un sinistro stradale, cioè colui che ne è responsabile può accordarsi, that means they can d'accordo, that's what they mean by this accordarsi, con il danneggiato, he can discuss, he can d'accordo, in Italian, as Italians used to call it, he can d'accordo with the danneggiato. Danneggiato is the one that has been damaged, the one that his vehicle has been damaged, the one that his property has been damaged, okay? Cerca il valore del risarcimento, that I said, the valore means the value of the damage, the value of damage that has been caused. You understand? When they look at, for instance, that example I gave, both of them, they looked at it, they said, okay, this amount is going to be okay for you to repair your vehicle, is enough for this damage. This amount of money is going to, foot this damage. Then they decided to go to the bank and then solve the problem. You understand? So that is how it is in this responsabilità civile. Ok? Oppure, ok, se si libera quindi dall'obbligo se lo risarcisce personalmente. So that's such a person, when that one is done, such a person is now free from any kind of obligation, because he has settled the one that he damaged his vehicle. So he's now free from it. Nobody will disturb him on the road. Nobody will call him on the road and say, look, you did this. He's now free. Then that one is one. Another method is, oppure nella gran parte dei casi, presentando regolare denunzia alla propria impresa assicuratrice. Now, for instance, this particular one comes in when the damage is too much. The damage is too much. When there's a damage as a result of the accident, and the damage is something they cannot evaluate as at that point because of the enormous, damage that has been done, you discover that what they'll do is the one that is at fault will now have to inform his own insurance company of the damage that he has done. You understand? Let's read further. Nella gran parte dei casi presentando regolare denuncia alla propria impresa assicuratrice. Pagando l'ammontare del danno provocato non si libera dall'eventuale responsabile penale. Okay, that one is another thing. Now, such a person will now call his own assicuration, or better still, they will say there's always every vehicle that has insurance has what do I call it? How do I put it? A booklet, yes, a booklet in case there's an accident. An accident booklet whereby you write the information of the accident and then present it to your insurance company. If you are at fault, then your insurance company will now take it off from there. You understand? So that is how it is done. So these are the two ways it can be done in order to be free from responsabilità civile. You know, number one, you settle the person that is involved if it's something that can be evaluated as quickly as possible, or if it is as a result of the accident is as a result of it's something that you can foot within the shortest time possible. If it is a small damage that has been done, it can be evaluated as quickly as possible, you know, with the agreement of the one that you caused that you damaged his property or his vehicle, and then go ahead and then pay the money. Once you give him the sum that you both have agreed, then you are free. Or if the damage done as a result of that accident is too much, it's not something you can foot immediately, then you involve your insurance company by the reason of regulare denuncia. You understand? That paper, that booklet that is in your vehicle that they gave you when you did your insurance, you write all the terms of accident, the damage done, and all those things. You give them the information, they present it to your insurance company. Then your insurance company will now have to, you know, foot the damage, and then in your next insurance policy, your insurance policy will now be a little bit higher or much higher, depending on the damage that has been done, depending on the amount of money that the insurance company spent to foot the damage that was done. So that is why it's very necessary that once somebody is driving, person should be very, very careful. If you have insurance company, if you have insurance in your vehicle, you are the one that is even going to pay. The insurance is that they just want to, they will help you to, you know, resolve that problem. They help you to solve that problem, but at the end of the day, you'll be the one that will pay. And how do they deduct their money from you? It is when you want to do your next insurance, you go to them. They'll say, okay, instead of the normal 500 you are paying, you'll now be paying 600. Why? Because they need to get their money back. You understand? You are the one that have to pay. So that's why it's necessary. Everyone should be, you know, careful on the road. Now, the next one is pagando l'ammontare del danno provocato non si libera dall'eventuale responsabilità penale. What does that mean? Even though that you have settled the person that you hit his vehicle, you damage his property, you damage his vehicle as a result of one accident or that accident, you know, you still that does not mean that you have been exempted from responsabilità penale. Okay. Now, responsabilità penale will be explained it as we go forward. You have settled if an accident can happen, and there will be two responsibilities in it, penale and civile. So that you have settled the civile does not mean that you have cancelled the penale. If you settle the civile, you also have to settle the penale. So let's go forward and then know what this penale is talking about. La responsabilità penale connessa a sinistro stradale è personale, cioè a carico del conducente, quindi non può gravare sul proprietario, neanche se il conducente non viene identificato. Non è esclusa anche qualora il danneggiato venga comunque risarcito e sorge. Now let's explain what we've read so far. There are some kind of accidents that bring punishment. What they mean by penale means punishment. from the government. For instance, if there's an accident and it damaged government property, you understand? That government property that was damaged, the one that is involved in that accident, the one that caused the accident, we have to pay. Even though they have settled he has settled the other one, the vehicle that he damaged, they have settled the person, maybe personally or with insurance company. He still have to pay for damaging government property. You understand? So there are several ways government used to collect their money. There are several ways government can, decide to punish that person that have damaged their property. Sometimes they will bring multa. Sometimes they will give you community work. It depends. They know how to do their own thing. They know how to, foot for their own expenses for any of the properties you damage. So irrespective of the fact that you have been able to settle the one that was involved or the one that you damaged his vehicle, you still have to settle the government too for damaging their own property. What do I mean by damaging property of the government? When there's a structure on the road, government structure on the road, maybe semaphore, or there's a signal, vertical, signaling vertically like we discussed some time ago, and as a result of the accident, that signaling vertically was hit and it fell down. You understand? Or you hit a road sign as a result of the accident. That one is government property. Now you may have settled the person that you hit his vehicle, but that sign, that government property that you spoiled, you will pay for it too. Now the government reserves the right to make you pay for it however they want. You understand? However they want, they can decide to say, okay, they will give you multa that is equivalent to that, property that was destroyed or that was damaged, or they can ask the person to go and, do community service. Community service is free work that you will not be paid. You understand? Community service is free work. For instance, when they ask someone to go and do community service in the commune, they can say, okay, go and be sweeping the commune environment for 3 months. Free, it's free. From so time to so time, you'll be doing it for free. That one is community service. They can ask you, okay, go and take care of old people. Go to old people's home and be taking care of them for 3 months. They know how to, solve their own problems. So that is community service. When you go and do something that the government asks you to do as a result of a punishment for destroying their own property, that's what they call community service. So government can reserve the right to punish anybody however they can. All right. So now, let's continue. They said, exclude, even though the driver is not identified, this kind of responsabilità civile does not concern the owner of the vehicle. Responsabilità penale. Responsabilità civile concerns both the owner of the vehicle and the driver. That is, if the driver is not the owner of the vehicle, like I said before. But in the case of responsabilità penale, it does not concern the owner of the vehicle. That means if the driver that drove that vehicle that was involved in that accident, even though it's not identified, the compensation that has to be done, the burden must be on the driver, not on the owner of the vehicle, because it's not the owner of the vehicle that caused it, that damaged that government property. It is the driver. So if an accident involves two responsibilities, which means penal responsibility and civil responsibility, the penal responsibility can involve both the driver and the driver and the owner of the vehicle. That means if the owner of the vehicle is not the driver, like I said, the company vehicles and all those things. So the two of them can share in the burden. But when it comes to penal responsibility, it's only the driver that will bear the burden. The owner of the vehicle does not know anything or does not have anything to do with it, because the driver that spoiled the property of the government, not the owner of the vehicle. All right, so that's it. That's the difference between responsabilità civile and responsabilità penale. Now let's continue. So, il danneggiato venga equamente risarcito e sorge. Now, anytime such a thing happens, there are several things that needs to be put into consideration. a lo che vengano violate norme contemplate dal codice penale. Now, once these things happen, when there's an involvement in penal responsibility, it means that um, the driver that was involved in such a mistake has, violated, penal code or road penal code, because every road has a penal code. So, for instance, what do I mean by penal code? If you um, drive past a kind of road that has camera, mm, and there's an amount of speed that you need to drive, maybe you are supposed to drive 70 and you are driving 90 and you pass the camera with that 90, the speedometer of 90, and the camera captures you, that's responsabilità penale. You will pay for violating that codice penale of that road. You understand? So when such a thing happens, you have violated the codice penale. That's what they mean here. You have violated the codice penale of that road. Therefore, for that case, multa will come. You understand? So now, se il sinistro ha provocato lesioni gravi a persone. Now, when there's an accident and the one that is being damaged, or the one that is the cause of the accident, for instance, the accident became so serious that there's a serious injury on the body of the one that is affected. You understand? There's a serious injury. That's what they mean by lesioni gravi. We've talked about this lesioni before. Lesioni, I think in our last lecture. Lesioni gravi a persone. When there is such an issue that there's a serious damage to the health of another person in that accident, the one that caused the accident, you see that accident has graduated from responsabilità civile to responsabilità penale. Now, you did not spoil any government property, but the kind of injury that was caused to somebody as a result of that accident has become responsabilità penale. So the government reserve the right to treat that issue the way they will treat the issue that has to do with violation of government property or violation of road code. You understand? What I mean here is codice penale. Codice is a road. Every road has a code. Understand? So when you violate the code of every road, there's a penal responsibility. So now in this case, when there's a serious injury, it has graduated from civile to penale. That means you don't enter government hand. So they reserve the right on how to, treat that issue. Now the other one is in caso de omicidio colposo. Omicidio is a manslaughter, homicide in English. Homicide means when there's an accident, and as a result of that accident there's a loss of life or even lives. Now when there's an issue like that, whoever is the cause of that accident is now, the accident has graduated from civile to penale. Now it's an issue, a serious issue, and there's always a price to pay, a serious price to pay. Okay, so in this case, these are the three cases where penale comes to play. When there's an issue, when there are these three issues, penale comes to play. But when these issues are not involved, then the accident remains civile. The accident remains civile. When these issues are not involved, the accident remains civile. But when these three issues are involved, then it has graduated from civile to responsabilità penale. All right, now let's continue. Now, la responsabilità penale è invece esclusa. Now, they want to let us know when this responsabilità penale is excluded. Okay, quando vi siano danni involontari alle sole cose. When there is a damage, involuntary damage on things, maybe as a result of an accident, there's an involuntary damage of things. It did not plan to damage, but because of the accident now, things were damaged, vehicles were damaged. It does not concern responsabilità penale, it's only civile. You understand?
So what is this danni?
Danni means damage.
Okay, grazie.
Yeah. Danni means damage. involuntary damage. When there's involuntary damage on things, that's why they say quando vi siano danni involontari alle sole cose. That's only things were damaged. Nobody was affected. Only vehicles were spoiled. Properties in the vehicle. Maybe there's a property in the vehicle. There's a laptop in the vehicle. As a result of the accident, the laptop got damaged. So this one does not concern penale at all. It rests with responsabilità civile. Now, the next one is quando il fatto dipenda da causa di forza maggiore. When the fact depends on force maggiore, that is something that you cannot avoid. There are some things that you cannot avoid that can cause accidents. And one of those things are what they will tell us here. Ad esempio, da un evento imprevedibile. Prevedibile, that's how do I put it? Sudden happenings, sudden events. As a result of sudden event, an accident can result as a result of sudden event, come un'inondazione or un terremoto. Terremoto is earthquake. What's this inondazione? Let's look for what it means. Inondazione. I think I've forgotten one, but let's look for it. Inondazione. Yes, flood. Yes, that's what it is. Flood. So when there is flood, there is no issue. It does not concern responsabilità penale. When, as a result of flood, there's an accident, it does not concern responsabilità penale. And when there's an earthquake, terremoto is earthquake. When there's an earthquake, it does not concern, responsabilità penale. Now, the other one is quando il fatto non sia considerato un reato. What does that mean? When the event or when the person that is involved in this accident or when this event of accident is not considered a crime. There are some accidents that is not a crime. As a lot of carelessness, anybody can, be involved in one accident or the other. But if the accident is not involved, it's not considered a crime, you understand? And when it is not considered a crime, it means that no life was lost. But when a life is lost, it's not a crime. It's no longer just an ordinary accident. That's when penale comes in. You understand? So, but when it is not considered a crime, maybe just things, vehicles were badly spoiled, nobody was injured beyond repair, and no life was lost, it's not considered a crime. Therefore, it is not considered as responsabilità penale, or in English, penal responsibility. Okay, now, any questions so far for what we've... Any questions so far?
Sorry, what I want to understand is just ordinary accident without injury or without
You said I didn't get you. I didn't get the question.
Okay, this responsabilità civile.
Yes.
Is it just normal accident without blood or what?
Yeah, you can consider it to be so. Because when there is an injury, serious injury, if it's a small injury, no problem. But when there's a serious injury, that's what they mean by this lesioni gravi. When there's a serious injury, then there's an issue, becomes penal. But even though there's a blood, but it's a minor injury, no problem. You understand? No problem at all. It's not penally. It's only civile. Civile has to do with both, little things, or the damage of things. You understand? As a result of damage of things, somebody can injure. You get? But if the injury is a very small, minor injury, no problem. But when it becomes a serious injury, serious one, then it becomes penale, which means it has become a crime.
Okay, second one, you said this responsabilità civile is for only the driver, not the owner of the car.
No, so responsabilità civile is something that is shared between driver and owner. So if the driver is not the owner of the vehicle and the driver involves in an accident and he is the cause of the accident, is the one that is at fault, then both him and the owner of the vehicle will share the responsibility. You understand? Both him and the owner of the can share the responsibility. But when the accident involves responsabilità penale, it does not concern the owner of the vehicle. So if the driver is not the owner, only the driver will bear the consequences because the one that drove. But if the driver is not is the owner of the vehicle, if he is the owner of the vehicle, if the driver is the owner of the vehicle, only him will bear it. But if the driver is not the owner of the vehicle and there's an accident that results in responsabilità penale, only the driver will bear it. It does not concern the owner of the vehicle.
Okay.
You understand?
Do you know this question? This question, they had it inside our former topic.
Okay.
Yes. They are inside it.
Okay, these questions are in our former topic. Are you sure?
Yes. For quiz.
Okay, quiz. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they used to ask. That's why it's good. That's why I'm sorry that some of our students are not here. They are supposed to know this question used to come at least 2 in every quiz. You get at least 2. If it sometimes it will not come at all, but sometimes if it comes 2, because assicuración is very important. There's nobody that want to drive a vehicle or even a scooter that will not put assicuración on it, because you cannot drive on a public road without assicuración. So you need to know these things before driving. When you know these things, then it will help you even to comport yourself while driving. You understand? When you know this thing that there's responsabilità penale, there's responsabilità civile, it will help you. There was a time I had an accident and I hit, there's this covert. I hit the covert. The property there, the property of the government there was badly hit, although the property even spoiled my own vehicle more. They gave me multa later, not even within that period, later, about 3 months later, I saw the multa in my name. You understand? To repair that property. So that accident is no longer only civile. Civile has to do with my repairing of my own vehicle. It has migrated from civile. It has entered penale now. So penale, government will decide how to handle penale. Sometimes, if there's an accident and a life is lost, it is not government business. They can even arrest the fellow. They first of all collect the patent and arrest him. You understand? So such an accident have graduated from civile to penale. So when you know this thing and you are in the steering, you have to be very careful. When you know this thing and you are driving, you want to drive, your mind must be there to avoid all these things. You understand? Now, let's continue. Chi è penalmente e civilmente responsabile di un sinistro stradale è soggetto alle pene previste dal codice penale, ma non necessariamente all'arresto preventivo. Sometimes they might not even arrest the person. It depends. You understand? Like I said before, government have a way of handling their own issues. In government book, any police that come, they used to open, there's an accident and there's a questioning, they will open, there's one book, I don't know if you've seen it before, one book like this, the book is like this, you understand? When they come there to any accident scene and they want to interview, they call the person into that their boss that is like an office. I don't know if you've seen that boss before. They call the person into their boss. The person will sit down. By that time, they must have given the person balloon to blow. You understand? To know whether the person was under the influence of alcohol. So when they check it and they see that the person was not under any influence, they will now call the person. The person will now enter their vehicle. Then they ask the person, how it happened? Then you will now explain how it happened. Then, according to your explanation, they will now bring that their big book, a big book like this. They will open it and they find where your explanation is in that book, or something that resembles your explanation in that book. So that their book, with that your explanation, there is there is a punishment for it. So whatever you have explained to them that is similar to what they have in their book, there's a corresponding punishment for it. So they will look from that their book and then hand over the punishment to the person. I know this thing because I have been involved in it before. So that is why they are telling you that chi è penalmente e civilmente responsabile di un sinistro stradale è soggetto alle pene previste dal codice penale. That book is called Codice Penale. That their big book, very big. It's called, there's no law and punishment that is not there. So they will take from there to check. So when they check, sometimes even if you destroy government property, does not mean that they will arrest you. They will check in that their book. If that their book see that what you destroyed does not need arrest, then there's no need for them to arrest you. You understand? But if there's muta in that their book, you will see the muta. You might not see it immediately, but you will see it eventually. Now, qualora abbia violato nome del codice della strada e anche soggetta alla relative sanzioni, può incorrere nella revisione, nella sospensione o nella revoca della patente. Now, when, just like I said before, qualora abbia violato nome del codice della strada, when somebody have, gone against the Codice di Strada, which is that road code. Now, I told you that every road has a code. For instance, there's a road you will enter. You don't drive up to 70. Maybe you drive more than 70, and maybe there's a camera in the road, and the camera capture the person driving more than 70. That person has violated the code of that road. You understand? So the multa will come in the person's name later, according to the violation of that person on that road. You understand? So there are some also violations that can go from muta, that can graduate from muta. It will graduate from muta to become revision. Revision is they will revise your patente. They might collect it from you and they will send you back to driving school. The other one is suspension. They can suspend that patente for a while and ask the person to be going from place to place with bus. Don't drive for some time. They can suspend it, temporarily or independently. They can suspend it without recall. So that means if the person wants to drive, the person has to go back to driving school and learn and pass theory and pass practical before the person can call another one. So it depends on them. The other one can be revoca de la patente. That one is the final one. They can record the patent and say no more. For this person, no more, may not they drive again. In such cases, I don't know, but I will find out. In such, I don't think the person can go back to driving school and go and they use bus, they use public service. Don't drive again. That's what I feel. But I will find out if in that case, the person does not have to go back to driving school. You understand? Because suspension can be indefinite. Yes, it can be indefinite. That's the word. It can be indefinite. It can be temporary. Temporary suspension can be 3 months, 6 months. But indefinite suspension is the one that I know that if it's indefinite suspension, you have to go back to school. Once you die your patente, go and start from theory again. When you do theory, you do practical, then they give you a new one. Then this revoker, I think that is no more. As in when they revoke it, forget about it. No need to go school because no school will even take you. You understand? So that's what I think. I'll find out and I'll let you know. Now let's go to the next one. But is there any question so far on what we've treated that has to do with responsabilità civile e penale?
No.
Okay, you understand them very well. Now let's go to the next one, which is capitolo 23.2, assicurazione RCA, responsabilità civile autoveicoli. Now, this assicurazione is the type of assicurazione that everybody here in Italy does. Everybody, majority, even me. Why is it? What's the meaning of that RTR? RTR is responsabilità civile auto. Responsabilità civile auto vehicle. Now, it's a kind of insurance that covers civil responsibility. Civil responsibility in the case of what we said so far, what we started with today, that when somebody hits another person and the person's vehicle and other properties are damaged, your insurance company can cover it, but there's no insurance company that can cover penale. You understand? So there's no responsabilità penale auto veicoli. No, I don't think. I've not seen. I've not heard. But what I have heard so far, what I have seen, what I've experienced is assicurazione RCA, which is assicurazione responsabilità civile auto vehicle. That is why when somebody is involved in an accident and you damage somebody's property and your insurance company can help you to pay, then later you pay your insurance company, you understand? So that's what they cover. They don't cover federal responsibility because they know that they can't. That one is between you and government. So you settle with government. They will help you with civil offenses, but penal offenses they cannot. You understand? So the meaning of this RCA, I believe maybe in one of your quizzes you have seen, you've come across it before. You've come across it before.
Very good.
Yeah. So now we want to go into it to know what it is properly. The full meaning is RCA, Responsabilità Civile Auto Veicoli. Now, la legge rende obbligatoria l'assicurazione del veicolo a motore per la responsabilità civile verso i terzi. Verso i terzi. What does verso i terzi mean? Gravante sia sul conducente che sul proprietario, like I said before. Okay. Now they cover the expenses of both the driver and the owner of the vehicle. Like I told you before when we started, what responsabilità civile is all about. Now, this assicurazione help to cover those expenses, to cover those responsibilities, those civil responsibilities. This kind of insurance helps to cover. And it is obligatory, la legge. Under law, it is obligatory. Before you drive, you must have it. Before you drive any vehicle, that vehicle must be insured, must be covered with insurance policy. Okay. Now, gravante sia sul conducente che sul proprietario nella circolazione su strade ad uso pubblico. Like I said, I told you that civile has to do with when the responsibility comes, it is both on the driver and also on the owner of the vehicle. That is if the driver is not the owner of the vehicle. It's same thing with this assicurazione. It covers expenses or compensations that involves both the driver and the owner of the vehicle. That is, if the driver is not the owner. If the driver is the owner, now the same thing. If the driver is not the owner, this responsibility, civil responsibility, covers all their expenses. Okay. Now, as long as the circulation is done in public road, all this road now that are around us, they are all public road. No road is private road in Italy. All roads are public road. The only one that is private, the only road that is private is the one in your house, inside your house. That one is private. Nobody can open your door and enter except you grant them access. So that one is the only private road you have. Every other road, as long as you leave your compound, is a public road. Now, la polizza di assicurazione. This polizza, the meaning of this polizza is policy. They call it insurance policy in English. So, in Italian, it is called la polizza di assicurazione. Now, la polizza di assicurazione R, Italian they call them R, we will call it R. RCA copre i rischi is responsabilità, rischi derivanti in sede civile dalla circolazione dei veicoli a motore, anche se non condotti dal proprietario, like I've always said before, e quindi i danni arrecati dai sinistri stradali a persone, animali e cose che si trovano in aree pubbliche o aperte al pubblico nei limiti dei massimali stabiliti in polizza. Tale assicurazione non copre. Let's get that. Let's leave that one first. Let's explain what we have read so far. La polizza di assicurazione RCA copre i rischi derivanti in sede civile. Now, this RCA covers all the risks that are involved in civil responsibilities. You understand? You know, civil responsibility, like I've explained, you know what it is. Civil responsibilities are responsibilities that cover both, what's it called? Civil responsibilities are responsibilities that cover both animals, even the one that involves the driver and the owner of the vehicle, covers animals, persons, things that are found on the road. You understand? Animals, persons, things that are found on the road. Chigozie, you're welcome. It's like you're on the road. You're on the road, you're welcome. Nevertheless, you can still join us from where we are. We've not really done far, but whatever you can pick from this point is a welcome development. Yeah. Okay, now let's continue. L'assicurazione, no, okay. Like I was saying, la polizza di assicurazione, we are in page 273. La polizza di assicurazione RCA copre i rischi. Rischi is responsabilità, ok? Derivanti in sede civile dalla circolazione dei veicoli a motore, anche se non condotti dal proprietario. E quindi i danni arrecati dai sinistri stradali a persone, they cover risks that are involved with persons, animals, and things. When there is a damage to any of these three, this responsabilità civile covers them all. Ok? Now, che si trovano in aree pubbliche or aperte al pubblico. Aree pubbliche is the public road. You understand? In places that are open to public roads. Okay, nei limiti dei massimali stabiliti in policy. Now, every insurance policy, according to the amount you pay, there's a limit they can cover. For instance, if the insurance policy you have can only cover damages that are up to 5,000, and you damage you did, or the damage that is involved in such an accident is 10,000, it is only that 5,000 they can cover, that they will cover. Then the person will have to go and sort out himself with the remaining 5,000. You understand? So there's a limit. There's a limit they can cover. That they can cover that they can cover every civil responsibility. Does not mean that they can cover it to a certain. There's a certain amount they can cover it up to. You understand? They cannot cover if your kind of assicurazione RCA is the one that covers for damages that is up to 5,000. Then that is the maximally, that is the maximum they can cover. Anything beyond that, it's not their business again. You understand? So that's how it is. I'm only giving an example. Some can cover more. You understand? I'm only giving an example, but there is always a limit. You understand? They can cover all, yes, that has to do with civil responsibility, but there's always a limit. So that limit is what we need to take note of. You understand? So that we will not, make mistake. That's why I said that when we know these things, it will help us to know how to drive. It will calm us down. You understand? It will calm us down, make us more cautious. You will see somebody that went through all these processes and eventually learn all these things, and the person gets driving license and the person is driving. You see that the person will not drive like someone that has not gone through this process. You understand? The person will comport himself or herself. Why? The process they pass, the things they were taught. So when you know this thing that has to do with driving, you know that there's an insurance policy that has a limit, and eventually you are driving, you will definitely calm down. Number one, you will not overspeed unnecessarily. There are things you will not do on the road. You understand? When you are driving, you won't even like to make up. Why? Because you already know these things and look at the process you are following. You understand? So now let's continue. Tale assicurazione non copre. This type of assicurazione that we're talking about, assicurazione RCA, non copre, number one, la responsabilità penale. Like I told you before, responsabilità penale are the ones that has graduated from civile into very serious issues that has to do with government now. This RCA does not cover it at all. They only cover responsabilità civile. They anche that affronted the aumento del premio. No matter how your premium is, even if your premium is 1 million, the premium is 1 million, they don't cover responsabilità penale because they know that it has to do with government. So they can't cover it. Anything that has to do with government, they cannot pull out. But anything that has to do with civil responsibility, they will cover. The next one is le sanzioni amministrative pecuniarie previste dal Codice della Strada. All right, now what does this sanzioni amministrative is? There are some things that can happen to somebody in this country I've discovered that they will sanction you not to drive your vehicle. For instance, there's what they call bollo here in Italian. I don't know if you've heard of it before. Bollo auto. There are some of us, some people don't.
No.
Okay, you've not heard of it. It is a tax. It's a government tax. Government tax. Yearly government tax for everybody that is a car owner in this country. Now, that car owner has a certain amount according to the car that is driving. You know, that's why many people, they tend to drive cars that are not too expensive, cars that their engine capacity is not much. You understand? The logic behind it is that the higher your engine capacity, the higher yearly tax you pay for your vehicle. You understand? So that's why some people, when they want to buy vehicle, what they look at the consumption, the fuel consumption, the kind of carburante the fuel is, the vehicle is using, whether it is diesel or fuel or GPL or methanol. You understand? So these things, this kind of carburante here in Italy have 4 types of carburante for vehicles: diesel, fuel, methanol, or GPL. So this kind of carburante will determine the kind of tax, yearly tax that will come, because they discover that diesel is a pollutant, it's an air pollutant. So when you drive diesel vehicles, your yearly tax can be a bit higher than somebody that is driving petrol vehicles or GPL vehicles. You understand? Now, another thing they consider if you want to buy a vehicle is the engine capacity. Is the engine capacity high? If the engine capacity is high, that means the level of pollution may be high as well. For instance, engine capacity has different, there's 1.0, there's 1.2, there's 1.3, there's 1.4, all through to 1.9. You understand? And your insurance policy also checks that as well. If your insurance policy is between 1.0 to, that's the insurance policy of your vehicle, because they will know the properties of your vehicle. If your vehicle is 1.7 or the engine capacity is 1.0 to 1.9, your insurance policy is not so high. But once your insurance policy goes to 2.0 upward, there's every tendency that your if your vehicle capacity, the engine capacity of vehicle is becoming from 2.0 upwards, there's every tendency that your insurance cover will be higher compared to somebody that the insurance cover is 1.0 to 1.9. You understand? So these are the things. So these things also affect the bollo, road tax. They call it road tax. The bollo you pay as a car owner yearly in this country. Now, a situation whereby for years that somebody has been driving, they have not paid that bolo once, and the government decide to remember that person. Sometimes there's a kind of multa that you will receive. You will know that yes, they have finally remembered you. You understand? Then you start looking for maybe a way to do rata for it, or involve a lawyer. All right. So now, when the government finally remembers such a person and they bring multa for the person, one of the things that will accompany that multa is what they call this sanzione amministrative pecuniarie, which is an administrative sanction. Now, there was no accident. There was no accident at all, but the person cannot drive that vehicle beyond a certain point anymore. Why? Because of they have not paid road tax for a very long time, and the government have decided to treat the person's case. You understand? So these are the things that happen when there is sanzione amministrative pecuniarie, and this assicurazione RCA does not cover that one, because this one is between you and government. You understand? This one has to do with government, you and government, so they will not cover it. They only cover civil responsibilities. Then administrative responsibilities, they don't cover. I don't know. Do you understand what I mean by this administrative responsibility? It's a kind of responsibility that comes from government as a result of, some accumulated, tax that you have not paid. So when they calculate it, they send it through Agenzia de Entrate, and then it arrives finally at your home. So when it arrives, most times the sum is high. Sometimes it can come with another letter that will ask you, until you pay this money, don't drive more than your city. If they find you in another city and they control you, they can seize that vehicle. Yes, you understand? So that sanction that comes with that multa, the sanction can be, don't drive beyond your city. So when you drive beyond your city and you're being controlled in another city, they can seize that vehicle. But they will discover everything is now, once they send it is already in the system. So when the police officers control, they will see it in the system and they will do their job by number one, seizing the vehicle. You understand? So this sanzione amministrative does not, it's not covered by any insurance company, because it has to do with between you and the government. You understand? So these are the kind of responsabilità. We just explained responsabilità civile and penale. Now there's another one of amministrative, responsabilità amministrative, which is this sanzione amministrative. The sanction is the sanction, but the responsibility is responsabilità amministrative. The sanction is sanzione amministrative. The sanction is the thing that happens or the thing that arrives against you or the person involved not to do some certain things. You understand? So now this polizza, the RCA, does not cover it at all. Does not cover it at all. Now, le sanzioni amministrative pecuniarie previste dal codice della strada is not being covered by RCA. So these are the two, is it two? Yes, it's two. These are the two kinds of responsibilities or responsabilità that cannot be covered by RCA. One of them is responsabilità penale, the other one is responsabilità amministrativa. You understand? Sometimes some questions can come asking you that RCA covers both penal responsibility and administrative responsibility. The answer is false, because RCA only covers civil responsibility. Penal responsibility and administrative responsibility have to do with government, and RCA does not cover anything that has to do with government. Okay, is it clear so far? Any questions so far?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Chigos, do you have any question on your side? Are you there, Chigozie? You can unmute because it is muted, your volume. But in any case, if you're muted, you can still ask your question. Now let's continue. È vietato utilizzare sulle strade pubbliche un veicolo privo di copertura assicurativa. Copertura assicurativa. It is not allowed. It is not allowed to use on public road to drive any vehicle that does not have insurance on public road. It is not allowed. It's against the law. Seriously, it is against the law. Okay. Anche se si è disposti a pagare personalmente gli eventuali danni arrecati, even though you want to pay personally, there's an accident, you want to pay something that you can handle, you are not supposed to drive. Nobody drives any vehicle without insurance. It's against the law. Per tal motivo, quando l'assicurazione per la responsabilità civile auto è scaduta di validità, si incorre in una sanzione se si circola o si lascia in sosta il veicolo sulle strade pubbliche. Let's explain. Now, when there is an expiry date, because every insurance have expiry date, some can be 6 months, some can be 1 year. Okay, like the one I have is 1 year. So if there's an if your insurance is expired, you are not supposed to drive with that vehicle that does not have insurance again, because that vehicle automatically is no longer covered. All you need to do is to go and renew your insurance so that you can use that vehicle again. You understand? And when the insurance policy of any vehicle is expired, the vehicle that vehicle is not supposed to park on a public road. For instance, maybe you park your vehicle in front of your compound. In front of your compound, you park your vehicle every day in front of your compound. Once the insurance of that vehicle is expired, you're not supposed to park that vehicle there again. You're supposed to park it inside your compound if there is an opportunity, if there is space for you to park it inside. Because outside your compound is public road. You understand? That place you used to park it every day. You go to work, you come back, park it in front of your compound, enter your apartment. The following day, you come out, carry your vehicle and go. Once the insurance is expired, that place that you are parking in, that's your official parking spot. You're not supposed to park the vehicle there anymore. You're supposed to put it inside your compound until you are able to, renew the insurance policy before you can then park there. That's what they're saying. Nei casi più gravi si può anche incorrere nella confisca del veicolo. Non vi è però un aggravamento della responsabilità civile. Yes, this thing happened. I know of a man that it happened to. When they control a vehicle and they see that it is parked on a public road outside the compound and there is no insurance, they will carry the vehicle, they will seize it. I know of a former colleague that they seized his vehicle. The vehicle was having issues, then he just packed it and got another one. Just said maybe when he have enough money, he'll go and put that one in order. Then the insurance expired, he did not remember because there's another one he was driving. So one day he came back, they did not, in fact, they did not, somebody called him and said, the vehicle you parked here is no longer there. He came there and it was so. They have removed the vehicle from there. They have seized it. You understand? So now that they have seized the vehicle, the problem now has become double. So what did he do? He just abandoned the vehicle with them there. Then continue with the one he was using until he was able to buy another one. You understand? So in that case, you're not supposed, once there's no insurance in your vehicle, you're supposed to park there on public road. Even if the public road leads to somebody's compound, just don't leave your vehicle there. For the safety of such a vehicle, remove from the park it inside the compound. You understand? That way it will be safer. Or inside garage, if you can enter your garage, that way it will be safer without insurance than putting it on the public road. Non vi è però un aggravamento della responsabilità civile. When such a thing happens, it does not concern responsabilità civile actually, because the insurance is not even in it. The insurance is not in it, so there's nothing they can cover. You understand? And also, when the vehicle is being seized to insure, that's why anything that has to do with government issue, insurance, this RCA does not pull hand at all. You understand? Because they know that once it has to do with government, the matter is no longer within their capacity. So they just leave the person involved. They don't cover anything that has to do with government. L'assicurazione per la responsabilità civile auto è valida anche per gli incidenti avvenuti nei paesi dell'Unione Europea. La carta verde è invece obbligatoria per alcuni paesi non aderenti alla UE. Now, this responsabilità civile, the Assicurazione of Responsabilità Civile, RCA, is valid even in other countries when there's an accident. For instance, somebody went on a holiday with his own car from Italy to Germany. The car has insurance RCA. He went from Italy to Germany, and in Germany there's an accident. That RCA that he has here for that same car can cover him in Germany as well. Why? Because Germany is under EU. You understand? So it covers you. Once you have this RCA in your car, it covers you within Europe, whether you are in France, as far as the country that you are is within Europe, that insurance covers you as well. You understand? That's it. So, like Carta Verde, there's always, when they give you the policies, the insurance policies, there's what they call Carta Verde is attached to it. I wish I had that. I had it here. I would have shown you. That Carta Verde green card, that green card that they give you, covers you in all EU nations. You understand? Se la Carta Verde invece è obbligatoria per alcuni paesi non aderenti alle UE. You understand? Okay, when you go to other countries that are not under UE, you need to get Carta Verde from your insurance company. You understand? You need to get it from your insurance company. But once you are within countries of EU, then you have no problem. You have no problem. The insurance you have here in Italy can cover you in France, as long as it's that same vehicle. In case there's an incident or there's an accident or so, it can cover you in France. It can cover you anywhere, as long as you are within the European Union territory countries. Ok, now, assicurazione dei terzi trasportati. Nel caso dei veicoli autorizzati al trasporto di persone, non solo per i taxi, l'assicurazione RCA, sempre nei limiti dei massimali, copre anche i danni ai terzi trasportati. Now, assicurazione dei terzi trasportati, that is third party, that's what they call third party. Insurance policy, third party, they used to in English. That third party insurance policy covers third people. For instance, now this RCA we are talking about, it covers you as an individual, covers the owner of the car, and covers any other person that is in that vehicle. That any other person is what they know to be third party. You understand? For instance, if it's vehicle that transport people, not even taxi alone, not just taxi, every other vehicle, you understand, that transports people, like this autobus that used to transport people from place to place. When there is an incident, when they have this RCA, it covers the people as well. It covers people that are covered, that in the vehicle. Those people are called third party, even if they are not more than, they are more than one. If they are one or more than one, they are all of them are called third party. You understand? So this RCA works for that. But when there's a third party insurance like this, it's just that the insurance policy for GM might be a bit higher than usual. But then it's very good because it covers every other person that is in that vehicle, and there's an accident, every other person is covered. You understand? So that's what they say. Il conducente non è considerato terzo trasportato e quindi non è compreso nell'assicurazione. Invece il proprietario del veicolo, i parenti stretti del conducente e, se si tratta di società, i soci ha responsabilità illimitata sono considerati terzi poiché non siano alla guida e con l'esclusione degli eventuali danni alle cose. Now, this third party, the driver is not considered a third party because the driver is already involved in the insurance. The people that are considered third party are people that are in the vehicle. Quindi non è compreso nell'assicurazione, invece il proprietario del veicolo, i parenti, yes, even the parents of the family members of the insurance policy holder are also considered third party. You understand? Which means if there is an accident and any of them is in that vehicle, they are also covered. Why? Because they are considered third party members. Okay. Now, the owner of the driver of the vehicle is not third party, it's also there, but it's not third party. It is the people, the family members of the insurance policy holders, or any other person that is being conveyed in that vehicle that are considered as third party, perché non siano alla guida e con l'esclusione delle eventuali danni e cose, non siano alla guida. You know, they are not the ones driving, but they are in the vehicle. Therefore, they are also third party members when there's an eventual damage on things or on the vehicle. You understand? Assicurazione del rischio statico. Tutti i rimorchi ed i semirimorchi, quando circolano, devono essere assicurati con la stessa polizza della motrice, mentre quando sono staccati devono essere coperti da apposita assicurazione, rischio statico, e devono essere muniti dal relativo contrassegno. Assicurazione del rischio statico. Now, they say tutti i rimorchi and i semi-rimorchi, all those trailers. You see all those trailers, those long trailers, those short trailers, the ones that are 3.5 tonnellate, and the ones that are even more than 3.5 tonnellate. They are all, when they are on the road, they have to be insured with the same insurance that the vehicle has. You know, this trailer, you know that their buckets, that their boots where they put things is known to be called buckets. That bucket has insurance, just like the trailer head. The trailer head has its own insurance. The same insurance that the trailer head has is the same insurance that that bucket has. You understand? Because there are some times that they can be staccato. You can remove them from the head, from the trailer. You can lose it from the trailer head. So when you lose it from the trailer and pack it, there must be an insurance cover on it. You understand? Because in public road, you're not supposed to leave anything that is like a vehicle, anything that is a vehicle, whether small or big. You're supposed to leave it. You're not supposed to leave it on public road uninsured or without insurance policy. It's not allowed. So the same policy that the trailer head has for that trailer head is the same policy that the bucket will also have, because the bucket most times they can pack it. For instance, you see those people that do container, you know that when they drop that container, they leave it and the head of the trailer will just drive off. When they are finished loading that container, they uncover it. They will now call the driver of the trailer head. The driver of the trailer head will now come, carry it together, join it together, and then take it to the seaport. You know, so that time that they leave that container for that work, you will discover that time that they leave that container there, the container body there is also insured with the same insurance of the trailer head that used to carry it. You understand? Why is this so? So that when there's a damage as a result of when they are loading, when there's a damage as a result of when they are loading the container, there will be an insurance company that will pay for that damage. You see why insurance is very, very necessary. Very, very necessary. Even when we drive in Nigeria, most of our people in Nigeria or in Africa, they don't know about these insurance policies. You understand? But it is when we came here that we began to understand. So when we got back home, whenever I want to have anything to do with car, one of the things we ask is this car insured? Is there insurance policy on this car? Why? Because we now know what it is and how it helps when you are under an insurance policy cover. Okay. So that kind of insurance is what they call assicurazione del rischio statico. Assicurazione del rischio statico. Okay, assicurazione del rischio statico. That's what they call that kind of insurance. Insurance that covers both the trailer head and also the trailer bucket. Now, let's get to the next one. Massimali e minimi di garanzia. I massimali della polizza RCA sono gli importi. In case, I believe, before 10 minutes, I believe we should finish this lesson. But in case we didn't finish in 10 minutes time and the video goes off, I will send you another link so that we can finish up. But I hope that we are going to finish up before 10 minutes, before the video goes off.
Okay.
Yeah. I massimali della polizza RCA sono gli importi massimi che l'impresa assicurazione si impegna a pagare in caso di incidente. I massimali della polizza, that is the maximum of insurance policy, is the amount of money that the insurance company can pay in case of an incident, in case of an accident. The highest amount of money, just like I said, if the highest amount of money that your insurance can pay is 5,000 and there's an issue of 10,000, the insurance policy will only cover the one that they have decided to cover, which is the 5,000. You understand? So that 5,000 that they can pay is what is known to be a massimali, the maximum. A massimali della polizza RCA. Sono gli importi massimali o importi massimi che l'impresa assicuratrice si impegna a pagare. This is the highest amount of money they can pay. They have limits. You understand? Now, quindi la copertura assicurativa dei danni che il veicolo può provocare è limitata. Yes. The kind of damage that a vehicle can cause is limited. It's not unlimited at all. It's limited. In pratica, la responsabilità civile connessa al sinistro stradale non grava sull'impresa assicuratrice per la parte di danni superiore ai massimali, just like I explained. If there is an issue, there's an accident, and the accident is a value to be what, maybe the damage of the accident is valued to be about 10,000 euros, for instance, and the insurance company can only cover the maximum insurance cover they can do is 5,000. Then the driver of the accident will have to go and look for 5,000 to complete it. You understand? Because they can only cover what they can cover. Il valore minimo dei massimali di polizza è stabilito per legge, which is called minimi di garanzia. Minimi di garanzia. All right. This minimum di garanzia is the minimum amount they can cover. For instance, the minimum amount can be maybe from €1 to 10,000 euros. That's what they can cover. The minimum amount there is €1. The maximum amount is 10,000. You understand? So you see the difference. The minimum amount that can be covered is €1, which means if somebody is involved in an accident of €1, they will cover it. It's within their limit. If somebody have an accident and when they evaluated the damage done, the damage is about 500, they will cover it because it is within their minimum limit. You understand? Then maximum limit. So every insurance policy cover has their own. They will write it in the insurance policy that this insurance covers from this one to this one. This insurance covers from so to so. You understand? They always indicate it's not abstract. They always write it down. Every insurance policy. Maybe in our next lecture, if I'm opportunity, if I remember, I'll bring my insurance policy so that I can show. You understand what I'm talking about? Well, there's a diagram here that talks about that shows it. So as we continue, we'll be looking at the diagram. All right. So this is it. When there's always in every insurance policy, there's always minimum and maximum. There's always minimum and maximum. Therefore, in massimali, quindi non possono essere diminuiti al di sotto del valore minimo di legge. Now, according to law, there's always a minimum limit. According to law, you understand? There's always a minimum limit according to law. So, I think as we continue, we'll be reading the minimum limit, Ma possono invece essere aumentati a scelta dei clienti. That minimum limit, you can by yourself increase it as you are going to do your insurance, and they tell you, this is the minimum, this is the maximum. Because okay, can you increase this minimum to this amount and this maximum to this amount? But you know that as you are increasing it, you have to pay for it too. You understand? Because somebody that has minimum and maximum limit of 10,000, between 1 euro and 10,000, and someone that wants to do his own between that 1 and 100,000 will not pay the same amount. You understand? There must be, the higher you go, the higher you are paying for your insurance policy. Ok, pagano in maggiore somma di denaro, that's like I explained. Maggiorazione del premio assicurativo, that's what it's called. When you pay more, it's called maggiorazione del premio assicurativo. Infatti, i valori minimi fissati dalla legge evitano le sanzioni, ma possono risultare insufficienti a coprire i danni. Infatti, i valori minimi fissati dalla legge, the minimum value that is being fixed according to law, helps to, avoid some sanctions. You understand? But it can result in insufficient cover. You understand? If it's too low, if the minimum limit is too low, it can result in insufficient cover. You understand? Insufficient cover of damages. I danni prodotti da un as a result of the accident. Non è previsto il meccanismo automatico di adeguamento dei massimali che pertanto non necessariamente aumentato ogni anno. Yes, mentre può aumentare il premio pagato. No, non è previsto un meccanismo automatico di adeguamento dei massimali. Yeah, there's no automatic mechanism of trying to have more maximum limits, you understand? And as a result, it's not necessary to increase it every year. It's not necessary to be increasing it every year. No, it's not necessary to be increasing it every year, because this year, for instance, you drove throughout this year and there's no issue. Why do you want to go and increase it? Are you believing that you have issue next year? No. So it's not necessary you go into the increment of the massimale. It's not necessary, because as you are increasing it, you are paying more. You understand? È ovvio che i danni causati da veicolo non assicurato o i danni non previsti nel contratto di assicurazione RCA, ad esempio incendio e furto, oppure che superano il massimale del contratto, sono a carico del conducente e del proprietario. Just like I said before, anything that has to do with, civilmente or civil assicurazione or civil responsibility, it has to be what is, people that has to benefit or people that have to pay for it, the driver and the owner of the vehicle. It's not just, it's not like penale, whereby it's only the driver that will involve, because it's the one that is suffering it, you understand? As far as civil responsibility is concerned, both the driver and the owner of the vehicle are connected to any accident on the road. They must see to it that they settle it together. Okay? Now, this is where we are going to call it a day for today's lecture. I believe that we have been able to learn one or two in our lecture for today. So if there are any questions, please feel free to ask at this point.
For now, I don't have any question.
Okay. Okay, that means you understand what you have treated today.
And by the grace of God, so after quiz, I will know that I understand.
Okay, so try me handling quiz that has to do with association as well. For the quiz you sent to me, sorry that I was not able to reply until this morning. That last quiz that you showed me, I was not able to reply until this morning. I've been very, very, busy during the week. I've been running kitty kitty I had several issues to attend to. So there was no time to even go to my phone. A whole lot of messages that I did not reply even up to today because I didn't go to work today. So I started replying them one after the other. My week has been so busy. So maybe next time it will not be like that. I try my best to, respond as quickly as possible. So send in the questions that you want me to handle for you, and I'll be doing that. Let me get back to them. Okay. All right, so my viewers, thank you so much for being with us even up to this time. I thank you so much for your time. I want to thank the likes of Estelle family and the rest that were here, to watch this video. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Okay, sorry, the video ended because of our time limit has been expended. So, like I said, try as much as you can to, whenever you see anyone, send it to me. As this, I believe from now I'll be free to attend to questions. I've been able to cover a lot of things within this week. So from Monday, or from even tomorrow, if you have any questions, send them to me. I'll be available, more available than ever. So how far have you been doing with your quiz? How far so far?
It's still the same, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. Maximum 5.
Mm. You're improving. You still have just a little more time. Once you begin to fail like 2 consistently, or you get all of them consistently, then you know that you are set. But you're on the way because it was not like this before now. So for someone to be failing 2, and most
But
time,
I normally finish before 30 minutes.
okay, you are doing it within the time frame. Very, very important. Very important. Just keep at it. Very soon you're going to do exam like I'm doing it. Because somebody to be falling 2, 3, it means that the person is improving. Just that you need to be consistent. A situation, I want it to be that when you are now getting all of them, if you fail, it will not be like only 1 or at most 2. And the reason for the 2 failures is a result of maybe lack of concentration. You are not focused. That is understandable. Then you know that yes, you are. But once you are focused.
What I believe that I don't study.
Mm.
I don't even know, since last year, I've not opened the book to read. It's only every Saturday.
Okay.
And that's what I believe.
Okay. So are you studying on your own too, as at now?
I don't even study. It's only quiz. I'll just open my phone, start doing quiz.
Okay. That's good. Then that means you are doing well. This lecture that we usually have is helping too. Is helping. So we thank God for the improvement. Just keep at it. Keep at it. If there's any topic you find, if there's any topic as you are doing your quiz, there's any topic, any question you find, I discover that we have not treated that topic before, or maybe we've treated it before, you need more explanation, you send it to me. Let me know so that in our next lecture, that will be one of the first things that we are going to handle.
All right.
You understand? Very important. Any topic you see that we have treated before but it's not really clear, or we have not treated before and you have come across it in your quiz, send it to me as a topic saying that we've not treated this topic, or you want us to throw more light on such a topic. Next time when we meet in lecture, that's one of the topics we are going to handle, so that you will be clarified, just like we did this some time ago. So you'll be clarified on that particular topic. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
So that's it for today. Keep at it, continue your study, don't give up. You're already close to your promised land. So you didn't come this far to come this far. You know, the journey so far. You know how you have improved. So just continue to keep at it. Very soon you'll be eligible for exam, and once you go for that exam, you will pass.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time, and my regards to your family.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Good night. All right, my viewers all over the world, thank you so much. I want to really appreciate you for your time. And in case you know anybody that might be in need of this video, please don't fail to share this video with them, so that they can have access to what you're having access to. And then comment on this video to let us know if we are doing well, actually, because we need your feedback to know if we are doing well, so that we can continue to do what we do. The inspiration I get doing this thing is because you people are out there to listen and to drop your constructive and criticisms, so that it will help us also to improve. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Estella family. I've said that before. Thank you so much, Tino. Thank you so much, Henry. I want to appreciate you all that have been here since we started. And we want to call it a day for today. So take care of yourself until you meet in our next lecture. If you've not subscribed, please consider doing so, and then clicking on the notification bell, so that you'll be notified, one of the first people to be notified. You'll be among them in our subsequent postings here on YouTube. Share our video with your social media community, so they can have access to what you're having access to. You don't know what you will be doing to somebody that might be looking for such a thing for a very long time. Somebody called me, said a video that somebody shared. He has been looking for such an opportunity, but he has not gotten until he saw a video that one of their friends online shared, that has to do with what we are doing here, and that is how he was able to reach me. So people are in need of these things. So do share them out, and let them have access. They'll be glad you did. They'll be glad you did, and you'll be happy that you are helping somebody out. Thank you so much. So until next time when we meet again, I want you to stay safe and be blessed, stay safe, and stay healthy. Till then, I want you to have a blessed week ahead. Good night. Take care. Ciao.